welcome to part 2 of the debut episode of the AstroGiraffe podcast. Now that we've stumbled through that little introduction, I think it's time to get on to the bread and butter, or the meat and bones of this podcast. Is that the same?
I've
meat and bones?
never heard that saying.
Maybe I botched it. Oh well. Anyway, so this is the part of the show where we're going to talk about kind of like our favorites, what we like, and the areas we're going to be dealing with as AstroGiraffe.
Mm-hmm.
How's that sound?
Yep.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Gotta get you talking.
It's gonna take a while. I'm not gonna warm up to this for quite a bit.
Alright. So I guess since we mentioned producing films, like web series, I guess a good starting point, what's your favorite movie?
I've told you this so many times. I really don't have a favorite movie.
Well, the audience has a favorite.
I don't have a favorite movie.
Alright, so give me a few of your favorites. Like, it doesn't be an overall favorites. Give me a few of your, like, go-to movies.
I like the first Captain America.
Captain America, the first Avenger. It's not that I don't like it. It's just, I think Winter Soldier's better. Okay, what's another one? Or why do you like that one? Give us some reason.
I just like it because I really like Captain America, and I like seeing him grow and like become the big Steve Rogers.
I think
Go from tiny Steve to big Steve. It's very cool.
When it came out, I think it was the only period piece we had in the MCU, right? Like, it was the only one set in a different time.
I think so.
'Cause before that, Iron Mans were all set in the
That's true.
present. Thor was still set in the present, just in Asgard.
That's true.
Okay.
I like Les Miserables, the one with Hugh Jackman.
I haven't seen that one.
I also like the book. I know that you're going to talk about books, but that's also one of my favorite books.
Alright.
So we'll skip that out.
Jump around a little bit, that's fine.
I like all Disney movies.
All Disney movies.
I like Lilo
all
and Stitch.
Disney.
Stitch is my
Lilo
favorite
and Stitch.
character.
Yeah. Do you like Lilo and Stitch?
I do. That's a good one. And then what else? I don't know. I think it just depends on the mood I'm in.
Depends on the mood you're in, okay.
Yeah, I'm very all over the place when it comes to movies. And I'm kind of picky.
You a little bit.
Yeah. Especially TV shows.
Alright. Well, we'll get to TV shows in a second. When it comes to favorite movies for me, I think you know my favorite. American Ultra.
Yeah.
It's starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. Really cool, like, sleeper CIA agent, stoner kid.
Which is
like,
weird because you're not a stoner at all.
I'm not a stoner at all, no, but I seem to like a lot of stoner movies, yeah. It's a good mix of comedy and action and emotional storytelling. Like there's a lot of emotional stakes in a movie that shouldn't have emotional stakes by the look of it. And along with that, they have these really cool visuals and color schemes and sounds, and it's just a very unique movie. It doesn't look or sound like a stoner action movie should when you hear the term stoner action movie. You know what I mean? So I enjoy that one. And then obviously a superhero one's going to be in there for me. So X2, the second X-Men movie from the original trilogy.
Never even seen
I
it.
don't think you've seen it, which is a travesty, and I gotta show them to you. But I like that one a lot because they really like established the X-Men in that movie. Like we had the first movie and it did what the first movie was supposed to do, but I feel like the second one really established who the X-Men were, and it had really good action scenes in there. Like the scene that stands out to me, and you'll see it, is when agents are invading Xavier's mansion. So you see just how much Wolverine's grown to become an X-Man when he's like saving all these kids by himself, pretty much. I mean, Colossus opens a door, but for the most part, it's just Wolverine stabbing motherfuckers, and it's great. And then, did you mention 2 or 3? Did you mention 2 or 3? You mentioned every Disney movie ever, so it's like...
That's a lot, so you could just...
Well, another shout-out
say some of your favorites.
RoboCop was a big one for me.
Duh.
Terminator was another big one for me. I enjoy Terminator.
I actually do like those movies.
Halloween, the original Halloween movie
Oh,
is also
I like Halloween. I forgot
Yeah.
about that one. That's one of the few horror movies that I actually really, really like, which is kind
Yeah.
of strange.
Yeah, and she's relatively new to horror
Yeah.
movies. So,
I'm getting there. I kind of like it.
Yeah,
Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
So Halloween's good. Because Halloween is a movie that took the less is more mentality and
I think that's why I
ran
like
with
it.
it.
Because
You
I
don't
kind of
have
like I like subtlety.
Yeah, and I think just like the frame that always sticks out to me is when there's dead silence. Okay, they don't add in the eerie music or suspense building music. There's no added special effects or like smoke or anything like that. It's just Laurie Strode chilling in the hallway, and then in the background of that dark room, you just see him slowly fade, and they don't make you like any noise to make you acknowledge it. You just have to see it if you're paying attention, and I think it's awesome.
Yes.
Moving on to TV shows.
The Office.
Oh my God, yeah,
That's
The Office.
the only TV show that I like genuinely love. I also like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But that's not something that I'd like watch over and over.
I think she's
The
rewatched The
Office?
Office now like what, 5 times?
No, I think I'm on like 3.
Oh, feels like
I
5.
don't have a lot of time. But when I do, I'll binge some Office.
Okay. So The Office, Stranger Things, anything else you want to shout out?
I started watching Daredevil and I liked it. I just never
Oh, yeah.
finished it.
Yeah.
It's very much something you have to like get into, and I think the reason I like The Office so much is because you just have to sit there and like it's just funny and it's like so down to earth.
I think when
and
you look at the other
keeps you kinda
TV shows,
grounded.
you like the 70s show and Friends, like you seem
Yeah.
to like the episodes where you kind of just can go in and go out, and
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I am. Because I'm just so. I mean, I work a lot and I'm
Right.
like a busy person, so it's kind of like it's nice to just relax and have something to relax with.
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
For me, okay, so here's the thing with me. When I was originally thinking about this conversation, right, I was getting my picks in order. I felt the need I needed to separate it between animated kids shows from my childhood and then like actual TV shows that I watched as a young adult. So for my childhood, the 3 most essential things to me were Scooby-Doo, Spider-Man, and the X-Men.
Oh, I do like Scooby-Doo.
It was the Spider-Man and X-Men from the 90s, and then like the Scooby-Doo cartoon from the 60s. I like some modern cartoons like Danny Phantom and Vader Zim. Spectacular Spider-Man, I think, was on the time. But for me, I had these old VHS tapes of 90s Spider-Man and X-Men and 60s Scooby-Doo, and it appealed to me. And I think you'll see a lot of that style of superhero and kind of mysterious but still kind of campy. Like, you'll see that in some of my work, and so that's where it comes from. And then as a young adult, Daredevil on Netflix was huge for me. Because I was at an area where I was like, no one can take a superhero serious anymore. You know, it's all jokes. Like, it's the MCU, no matter how serious the movie, you're gonna have jokes in it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Like even Endgame is a perfect example of that. That was more humor than action.
Yeah,
in some
I
parts.
almost like that though. I know a lot of people
I
don't.
think it's good. I think some heroes dictate a more serious tone.
Yeah.
Like, I think Daredevil or like Batman's
That's
or Moon
I do like
Knight.
the more serious Batmans.
Yeah, so Daredevil at the time shook. Because I wasn't a fan of the Christian Bale Batman movies. So a lot of people might listen to this and be like, yeah, but it's not the first thing to do that with a superhero. Yeah, but it's the first one I enjoyed, so get off my ass. You know?
Yeah.
So Daredevil was huge. I watched The Office. You know, it's funny. Makes me laugh, but it's by far not my favorite comedy.
Yeah.
At all.
You have a problem.
I think you have an
have
Office
an addiction. You
problem.
have
Yeah.
a problem.
In terms of like comedic, I don't know. I don't think I watch a lot of comedy. I watch a lot of stand-up
I don't
comedy.
think. Yeah, you do like stand-up.
I love.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Oh shit. Gabriel Iglesias is always great.
Yeah.
I recently discovered this new guy, Bert Kreischer.
That's the fat guy.
Yeah, it's this fat shirtless guy. He's kind of childish in his humor.
I don't like him.
Uh,
I just don't.
Jeff Dunham's a good one.
I love.
John
I
Mulaney's
like.
a good one.
I like both of those. I like John Mulaney
and John Mulaney gets bonus points. He was fucking Spider-Ham, and he was great.
I think that's why I like him so much. And he's just so. He actually is funny. Like he's just funny. Like he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I just like him a lot.
But yeah,
A lot of my favorites are like gut things. I just like it, and I can't explain why
Yeah.
unless I think about it.
Stranger Things was another good one I like. Took me forever to get around to it though. That's for sure.
You wouldn't have gotten into it unless it was for me.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But shout out to Mama Steve.
I love Steve. He's my favorite. I like his hair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's a cliche, but everyone likes Steve's hair.
Well, that's what the characters like him for, so I think it's fair. Yeah, so wrap it up with favorite. Do you want to wrap it up with favorite books, or do you want to wrap it up with favorite books and favorite superheroes?
We have to superheroes. I
Alright,
already
so
said
we'll
my
do
favorite
books.
book.
So you already said, what was it?
Les Miserables. I have
Yeah.
a few favorites though.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
love reading.
Go ahead, take it over
I
this
love
part.
reading.
Favorite
I'm not a
books.
writer, but I do like to read and can enjoy good literature. So I like Les Miserables, and then I like anything by Charles Dickens. And then I really like The Picture of Dorian Gray. That one was good. I just finished that. That was a good book. So I kind of like depressing books. I know that's weird, but I like them.
And I am on the. Okay, I have an actual list,
Okay.
and for two of my picks, I'm kind of on that same, like, it's kind of depressing, dark.
Mhm.
But one of my novels that was my favorite is total opposite.
Mhm.
So, for me, my favorite of all time is Bram Stoker Dracula.
Oh yeah, I do like Dracula.
I read that in middle school, and it melted my brain.
Really?
This is my first year in middle school, and my teacher's like, okay, it's time to read real books. So she gives me Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And so I read all of them in like 2 weeks. So I just couldn't put them down. But Dracula always stood out to me because it was so deep in this lore, and it was a world I could really dive into and study. And it was cool.
I didn't think it was cool.
And
It was a
then
good book.
after that, Jekyll and Hyde
Mhm.
comes very close after that because I love that book. I love the book, and it went on to actually make me like characters like the Hulk
Mhm.
because I can see Jekyll and Hyde in them, so I like them a little bit more.
I like that you
Which
compare
is-
those
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
I think it's very cool.
I think it's a comparison that kind of gets forgotten sometimes.
Mhm.
And then this is a more recent book. But as a kid, Percy Jackson, the
Oh,
Percy
yeah.
Jackson series was huge.
I was so into
me.
those books. I was addicted.
What a disappointment
read-
those movies were.
I didn't watch the movies. I refused.
Oh boy.
But I read the whole series. I read that first part and then Heroes of Olympus in like a month. Like all of the books. It was great. I was so addicted to those books.
Yeah, and the books were great, and then even when he crossed them over with the Roman people and Heroes
I
of
never got
Olympus,
into those, to be honest.
They-
I just
they-
reread the
they definitely weren't
one.
as good as the Percy Jackson series.
That's what I had heard.
But for what it was, it worked a lot better than it should have, and
Yeah.
it did a lot better than his Egyptian crossover with Percy Jackson.
Really?
So, yeah, but I mean, he tried, and
Oh, you were talking about the Roman ones?
yeah,
That was the Heroes of Olympus. I liked those.
yeah.
I didn't read the Egyptian ones.
Yeah, the Egyptian, he had like one or two crossovers, and it just
I
didn't
didn't
make
like
sense.
those. Or I didn't. I heard they weren't good, like the Egyptian ones. so
I
just
heard the
didn't
whole
read them.
premise was that Percy Jackson forgot who he was and just started attacking Egyptians, and I was like, why?
Oh.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Oh,
but no.
wait, another book I like. It's not depressing. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I've actually
I
started reading that one.
love. You never finished it. You
I
started it
know,
a while
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, I'm still in the process of reading it, but
But
it's funny.
it's so good. It's this huge book, and I loved that book so much. It was like,
It's good.
yeah, it's so funny.
It's
I
very
don't even
British.
know why. I love British. I like British like
Yeah, British is
authors.
good, but it's like a book that I can read and then just know that a
Yeah.
Brit wrote it, you know?
I love British authors. I think
Yeah.
all my favorites.
Yeah, a British did write that, right? I'm gonna sound really stupid if a British
pretty
person
sure.
did it. Oh, well, I guess I'll find out
I
later.
don't know. I honestly don't. I just kind of read books. I don't put a lot of thought
Yeah, I
into
guess you're right,
who's
guess you're
writing
right.
them.
I guess you're right. Yeah, that's
I know
book.
Oscar Wilde is British, and I really like him. I like British style
Fair point, fair
books,
point.
I think.
But with Percy Jackson, when the movies came out, I was so hyped, and then the movies kind of flopped, and I was pissed because I was telling everyone who could listen that Percy Jackson was going to be the next Harry Potter in terms of like book to movie success.
Yeah, I
And
never had
then
hope
it
for
fell
it.
flat on its face, and I looked like the biggest idiot on the planet.
That's okay.
All right, I think it's time to wrap this up.
Wait,
So
we didn't
in
do
conclusion,
superheroes.
that's what I'm saying. In conclusion, we're gonna do our favorite superheroes. That's what we're gonna wrap it up with.
All right,
That's our finale.
I've been waiting for this one.
All right, I want to ask for your top 3. Okay.
Okay.
And I want a reason
Okay.
and a specific scene, image, or story that sticks with you. It could be from a movie, a comic book.
Well, geez, I didn't know we were going this in depth.
Oh well,
Okay.
it's content.
So, I like how I've just decided that I'm going first for
Yeah,
everything.
go first. Go first.
So, Captain America's obvious. I think I like him because of, like, the message he sends. He's so, like, he's just completely selfless. And he's not stupid about it either, which I think is, like, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. Because even when he was Tiny Steve, he was always, like, even if it seemed kind of stupid,
So it was
like, he
kind
knew
of.
that he had to, like, stand up for
He
for
had the
himself
heart of
and-
a hero, even when he didn't have the body of
Yes.
one. Is what
That's
you're
a
trying to say.
good
Okay.
way to put it.
Okay.
And then
So
he got hot, of course.
okay. Let's keep it legit reasons here.
And then
So, like, what is a scene or a storyline or an
That's what I'm
image that
thinking.
kind of sticks
I liked
with
the
you?
car ride with Peggy when they were in the car, and she realized how his mind worked and how, I don't know. I really liked the car scene for some reason. Oh, I
Okay.
also liked when they were all trying to get the flag, and
He just takes the pin at
he
the
just
bottom.
yeah, that was the best.
Hey, work smart, not
So it
hard,
showed-
right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, number 2. Number 2,
I like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I like how
okay.
dorky he is.
Oh, okay, that's
And
fair.
he's very relatable, and he's not like super over serious. You
Okay.
know? And then
Scene, image,
I like the
story.
old ones. I also really like Tom Holland, even though he's not gonna be Marvel.
And that's gonna be an episode in the future.
But my first favorite was the older ones, the first 3.
Sam
Right.
Raimi's trilogy.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know. I was like the romance between him and Mary.
I think that's a romance that was handled really well.
I thought it was very cute.
I think there's only like 1 or 2 super relationships that's been
Yeah,
handled better in
'cause
cinematic
usually
history.
I think they're kind of cringy. Like, I think a lot of, like, TV relationships were cringy. And that was the first one I actually
Yeah.
liked. Like,
Really?
because before that, yeah, I was never into, like, romance or anything like that. And that was the first time I really, like, liked it. Because it played well into the story, and I just,
That makes sense.
yeah. The only one I didn't like out of the trilogy was the third one. I don't think
And
anyone
no one
liked
likes the third one.
I
All right,
liked the first one.
number 3.
This is a tough one.
If you want to pass it, just make it 2. We
I'll
can.
just make it 2, I think.
Just make
I
it
might
2.
think of one. That's how it's been this whole time.
All
I'll
right.
think of one
So I guess I'll
after.
go first. My number 1, Wolverine from the X-Men, is my
Obviously.
favorite. There's something that appeals to me about a hero whose power is tailor-made for destruction and death, and he uses it for good. And I like the fact that he isn't a hero that's been a hero from the get-go.
Mhm.
You know, I like the fact that he's a human in the sense, like, he puts himself first. You know, he isn't gonna hunky dory his way into everything and like instantly like everyone. And he's a very real character, especially when he's in a group like the X-Men that's so family oriented and over the top with powers and bright colored spandex suits and blue and yellow everything. And he grounded the team in a way it really needed to, I think, to bring it into this new era. Especially back in the 90s when he became that staple of X-Men, the animated series, and X-Men Blue and Gold in the comic books. He did it very well. And for me, an image or scene, I think of X2 when he's running around that college, or the mansion or the college, whatever you want to call it, Xavier School. I mean, the place is flooded with soldiers, and he is running around like a madman, taking out as many men as he can, saving kids. It really shows how much he's grown into that role at the school. And another good one is from the X-Men animated series. No, this was from X3, the third movie. Phoenix Force is freaking out, and she's literally disintegrating him as he just walks towards the woman he loves and realizes that he has to kill her to save the world. And he does it, and he shows all of that emotion as he's getting disintegrated into a skeleton and then re-healing and then re-disintegrated and re-healing. It's a really packed...
That sounds terrible. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, no, that's a really big spoiler. I should have warned you about that.
No, you spoiled it, because I feel like I would have liked that scene.
I mean,
I probably would have cried.
It's one of those scenes where hearing about it, because the movie's bad. It's a bad movie. It's very much Spider-Man 3-ish. But that one scene is really good, and hearing about it won't spoil it, I think, too much, because I didn't tell you any of the dialogue, first off. And secondly, like, it's a powerful visual. But my number 2 pick, Spider-Man. Also Spider-Man. Because, again, he's relatable. He's a nerd. He's one of those heart of a hero characters, and he's one of the more relatable ones, even though he does have that almost unattainable hero's drive. But, I mean, he messes up. He makes mistakes. He gets emotional. And on top of that, he was the first teenage superhero that didn't start as a sidekick. That's kind of cool.
That is cool.
And another fun fact, I'm pretty sure he's the second place for most comic book romances. So he's the nerd that gets the girl.
That's true.
And for me, I had the 90s animated series. I had the early 2000s MTV series. So for me, the overarching, when I think Spider-Man is from the 90s animated series. And it's when he is fighting Venom and Carnage, I believe. Or something like that, and he does some kind of sacrifice where it's like he has to sacrifice himself to save everyone else. Maybe this wasn't the 90s. There's so many Spider-Man cartoons, honestly, that I watched as a kid. But it was Venom and Carnage, and he had to sacrifice himself to save the world, and he did it in a heartbeat. And it turns out Madam Web plucked him before it was too late or whatever, but still the fact that he was willing to do that. And then Spider-Man 2, the train, when he stops that train and then the people carry him and unmask him, that was so powerful, in my opinion. And then I have a number 3, so I'm going to say my number 3,
I think
Flash,
I have one.
from DC Comics. Throw a little bit of DC in here. He's cool. I think they did a really good job of making a very simple and plain power like super speed. And I think a lot of it's personality. But I mean,
I do like personality.
They've done good stuff with it, and TV show is pretty good, but I always think back to the early 2000s animated series of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and they have a scene in there where he also sacrifices himself to save the world. By running so fast, he enters the Speed Force, which powers him. And he gets pulled back by the rest of the team and stuff, but you can see him realize that he's going to go in there, and he just keeps running, and it was really cool. Yeah, do you have a third? Did you think of a third?
Yeah.
What's your third?
So I have a tie between either Wonder Woman, I just really like Wonder Woman, or I really like Iron Man. He was never one of my favorites, ever.
Until the
recently.
MCU?
Yeah.
Is it because he snapped?
Yes. But
I
it wasn't
am
even,
Iron
that's not
Man.
even when I started liking him, I think. I started liking him, I think, probably just in Infinity War. That's when because he was always like one of my mom's favorites, and I was like, why do you like him? Because I just thought he was kind of a jerk. Like, he just had like a jerky personality.
He's very quick.
And then I also took, when I took that, the movie, or the literature, analyzing course,
Mm-hmm.
when we really looked into it, that was one of the movies we analyzed, or the trilogies we analyzed.
Right.
And I kind of, like, realized how complicated his whole character was. And I really liked that. Like, I'm very much a personality person. I like personality.
Yeah,
And
man.
I think he really does have, like, an interesting personality.
Yeah.
And after learning about, like, how to actually analyze it, it made him, I don't know, it just made him one of my favorites, I think.
I think his character arc throughout the entire 10 years of the Infinity Saga and the MCU might go down in history as one of the best in all of media.
Probably.
'Cause man,
It
what
really
a journey
is.
was that.
And it did end, like, I mean, it ended with him dying, which isn't good, but
Well,
it
no,
ended,
I think that's kind of what he was always destined for.
it did give, like, his whole overarching thing closure,
I mean,
in a way. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I think he blamed himself from the very beginning for the death.
I liked the
of a lot
part
of
with
innocents.
Pepper where she said they're gonna be okay, because I think that kind of closed it out, because he always had, like, terrible anxiety about everything. And
It was kind of the crux of Iron Man was
It
Tony
was.
Stark's anxiety about bringing about the end.
and you know that the only reason he ever did anything was to help people, because
Yeah.
like, even though he played it off like he was this egotistical jerk, it was like
Peter
you knew
Parker
that
is
he
a
cared.
perfect example of that.
Yeah,
I mean, the spider suit had a warmer for when he got too cold.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
And Pepper saying that,
And
I
what
think, like, she never really, like, sugarcoated things, so her saying that, I think, it really added to it. You know, it wasn't like Spider-Man saying everything's gonna be okay. It wasn't anyone else. It
I
was
think
Pepper.
another good thing about Iron Man is he embodies human innovation
Mhm.
as a concept. Because if you pay attention throughout the entirety of the MCU, anytime he got his ass whooped a certain way, the next movie we saw him, he had like an answer for that.
Yeah.
In Civil War, Rhodey gets shot out of the sky, falls and paralyzes this thing, right? Spider-Man Homecoming, his suit has a parachute.
Mhm.
Iron Man 3, he almost freezes to death after his suit crashes. Spider-Man's suit has warmers.
Mhm.
Or, in, what was it, in Civil War, Age of Ultron, his repulsors weren't enough, so in Infinity War we see that he has that extra strength.
Yeah.
Floater, beams, things. I mean, it's stuff like that. That's cool.
Mhm.
I think that's what Tony Stark should be. And I think it helps contrast him from the rest of the Avengers, because a lot of the Avengers are a one-trick pony. I mean, Captain America's your favorite, but at the end of the day, what does he have besides just good old American stubborn? Like,
America's ass.
yeah, okay, I guess you're right. How are we gonna defeat Thanos?
Stanos?
Stanos, what? John Stanos. Half Full House. Thanos, America's ass.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going there. I kind of got all fluttered.
He got a little jumbled.
Yeah, I got a little jumbled. Anyway, we're encroaching on 40 minutes for this segment.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll keep this one a two-parter. Or,
Maybe.
yeah, I think we should.
Probably.
So what we're going to do, guys, is this is going to be the second part of a two-parter.
Mm.
And we'll release the two parts separately. And then we're going to release a longer cut. It's only going to be like 10 minutes longer. It's nothing too crazy this week. But going forward, we're going to try to do smaller 3-count segments. Next week, making this up on the fly, one of our thirds is going to be our project slate. What we're working on the most. Kind of fill you in on some of that stuff. We're going to address Spider-Man and Sony, and then the Fox MCU deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you our hot takes, Now, we've had some time to think about it, so I guess it's not hot takes, but
Yeah.
we're going to give you our takes. I'm going to go kind of break down some of the positive and negatives that could stem from it. We'll address some of the rumors, some of the leaks.
Mm.
And then the third one, I'll let you pick, and you can reveal that either now or later, whatever you want to do.
I don't know.
She's going to
Maybe
think
it'll
about
be
it.
a surprise.
Yeah, surprise. Okay, you have to tune in.
Yep.
And you can keep up with it at...
AstroGiraffe. Are we talking Instagram?
Yeah,
or?
we're talking Instagram at
AstroGiraffe, no spaces,
No uppercases.
just AstroGiraffe.
It's AstroGiraffe.
That's it.
Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. If you're interested in being a part of this group, shoot us a DM.
Yeah,
We'll get you on the podcast. We'll talk.
that's true. We are very much a small thing at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to expand one day, and we're going to need to accomplish our goal. But right now, you want to
It'll be
talk?
fun.
We'll talk.
It's a very relaxed podcast at the moment.
Yeah.
We're a relaxed company.
Yeah.
Productions thing. We're not really a company. That's what's kind of.
Don't be afraid to tell us when you see us talk about it. Like, if you listen to this and decide, they're not too annoying, let me keep listening to them. Feel free to comment, or, I mean, if you're on our Instagram page, shoot us a DM, or if we put a story up, respond to that. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Like, don't be shy. I mean, we don't know everything.
No,
I mean,
don't.
this is our first time doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But going forward, the future podcast layout, we will have some episodes. It's more research heavy, I think. We'll maybe
I think
talk
we should
about...
have Halloween specials.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
it's like
Halloween's
September,
coming
so
up, yeah.
we should have we should analyze horror movies.
Good idea.
Or something like that.
So I'm thinking maybe once a month we'll do a movie analysis where we watch a
That'd be
movie
cool.
and then give our takes on it. Do some
That'd be
research on
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some stuff you can look forward to. Again, thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
This is huge for us.
Thank you.
So if you're checking it out, thank you. And if you stick around, double thank you. No, I'm high-fiving you indefinitely.
If you leave, that's fine. I understand.
Well, don't
Maybe
don't
come
leave.
back another
I
time.
have abandonment issues. Don't leave. Well, guys, thanks,
Come
guys.
check us out at a later date.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
don't give up
let it build
completely.
up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
give us some. But this is a big step for us. So thank you for checking it out. This is the second part of the debut episode of the AstroGiraffe. I have been Mike Harrelson, the writer,
And I have been Olivia, the artist.
and we will see you guys in the cosmos.
In the cosmos.
Peace.
Peace out.